Everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 81. This is a review lesson. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list. And if you've got to a point where you need new sight words because your student has completed all 160, then I have included more on the website, on the flyingcatacademy.com website. And you can find them by going to the guided lessons page. And you'll see that there's two different subsections there, and you can go to the extra resources page and you'll find a sheet that gives you 1 to 290 for sight words. You'll need the sight word study method instruction sheet, the student's card pack, some blank cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student, although we won't be using those tiles today. And you'll need the visual drill and auditory drill instruction sheets and the card pack for the student. And you're making sure that you're adding those new cards when you've introduced a new phoneme-grapheme relationship. And you're also removing cards once sounds are mastered. We'll have a blending drill on the table. And I will provide this one in the video, so you could just play through the video, but it is better to have them set up on the table and have the student right there with them. In addition, we'll have a syllable card drill today, and we're doing compound words, 2 syllable compound words. And moving on, we'll have the sheets for the magnetic letter tile drill for reading and spelling. You'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the tiles spread in a rainbow shape for the student. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson. In addition, we will be reviewing the different sounds for the vowel teams OA, OW, and OE, so you'll need to have those cut out. And you'll probably have a timer on the table by this point. At some point when the student's competent with phonemic awareness and decoding, you have to add the fluency element. The Orton Gillingham method does not address fluency, so you have to add a secondary program such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. It's time to work on sight words, so student, can you take out your sight word card pack? I'd like you to read through every word in your pack. When you read a word correctly, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. When you're done reading through all the cards, you'll hand the card pack to your teacher, and then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read through each card and you will write down the words. When you write a word correctly, then in the other corner of the card, you'll put a check mark. Teacher, you're ready with blocking strategies in case a student encounters difficulties. And when the task is finished, then have a quick discussion about which of those words has been mastered. Mastered words will be removed from the card pack, and this leaves space so that you can introduce a new sight word. It's time for the phonemic awareness drill. And today we're not going to use the colored tiles. Instead, we're going to listen for the sounds and try to identify if they're long vowel sounds or short vowel sounds in the words that I'm going to say. When you identify if it's long or short, then I'd like you to show it by a gesture. Maybe you could say this is a short sound or this is a long sound. Or in the past, I've suggested that for the long one, you'll grab your earlobe. I'll let you decide what you want to do for that. So I'll say a word such as, let's do this one, show. And you'll think, so now you repeat that word, show. I went to the movie, it was a great show. And I want you to think about what vowel sound are you hearing in there? Is it long or short? If it's long, the vowel is saying its name. Okay, so if it was long, which it is, I would make a long gesture or go like this. And the sound I'm hearing is O. So in this drill, we're going to listen for the long O sound or the short sound, ah. Remember, olive? So those are the two sounds you can be listening for. Spot. Can you repeat that word? There was a spot on my shirt. Okay, give the gesture. Is that one long or short? Well, my gesture would be like this, so I'd say that one's short. I hear the olive spot. How about this one? Doe. Can you repeat that word? A female deer is a doe. Make your gesture. That one would be long for me. I hear the long O sound in doe. All right, how about this one? Coat. Can you repeat that word? It was cold, so I put on my coat. Long or short? I hear the O in coat, so I would say that one's long. How about cot? Can you repeat that word? When I was camping, I slept on a cot. Long or short? What's the vowel sound? I would say that one's short. Okay, great work. Let's move on. Let's do the visual drill. Teacher, you're going to need the flashcard pack for this one. Student, what sound does this one make? Did you say O as in coat? If you did, that's right. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way. Let's do the auditory drill. Student, you'll need the same card pack for this one. Your sound is O. Can you repeat that sound? Now I want you to think about all the different ways you know to write the sound O. Lots of ways to write them. Okay, I want you to write them down, and as you're writing them down, say O. And when you finish, underline them and say O again. Well, we've learned a lot of vowel teams for this one. Did you get this one? That's O, and it's often found in the middle of words. How about this one? That's another way that we learn to write O, and that's at the end of words. You'll often see that one. And then we learned this one. We had a story that we learned yesterday about a doe who hit a foe's toe. And then the other one obviously is just O, right? The long sound of O. So O can make that sound as well. Okay, great work. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way and then come back to me. It's time for the blending drill. This is where you tap each sound and then say the whole word. And the teacher moves the card so that the next word appears. And then on you go. If your teacher has this one set up on the table, then you can just pause the video and do it right now. And if not, you can just play the video and I'll show the blending drill and you can just read through it. It's time for the syllable card drill, and we're going to make some 2-syllable compound words today. Compound words are when we have a real word plus a real word, and when you put them together, you get a brand new word. So snow plus man would be snowman. Yeah, so let's do this. You're going to read down all the words in column 1, and then all the words in column 2. Then you'll read across making nonsense words. After you finish that, it's time to unscramble things and make some real words. Remember to talk about the meanings of the words and to put some of those words into sentences. Let's do some syllable pounding. Student, how many syllables do you hear in this word? Roadside. Can you repeat that word? I stopped my car on the roadside. Okay. Tell me now. Roadside. Well, when I put my hand under my chin, and I said roadside, it hit twice. So there's 2 vowel sounds. Another way you can do it is stretch out your arm, say the word roadside, and then just your fingers will come slamming out. So roadside is another way. Okay, how about this one? Ish. How many? In that one, I just hear the I, so there's 1. The short I sound. Try this one. Sunfish. Can you say that word? Okay, how many? I hear 2 in that one. The in sun and the I in fish. Try this one. Biting. I hear 2 in that one. Okay, get ready for this one. Unimpactful. Can you say that word? Unimpactful. So if something has an impact, it's something that leaves an impression on you. And if it's unimpactful, well, it didn't leave an impression. So that commercial was unimpactful. I forgot it right away. Okay, so let's have you say the word unimpactful. And how many syllables? I hear 4. Unimpactful. 4. Okay, great job. It's time for your Scooping Syllables worksheet. So can you pull that one out? And teacher, you can get the answer key out. And student, I'd like you to talk through your thinking as you're working on this sheet. And teacher, you're keeping an eye on the time and you know how many words the student has time to complete. Now we're going to practice adding suffixes to bases of different syllable types. And we've got a worksheet to do this. Student, I'd like you to talk through your thinking as you're working through the different types. And you're not going to have time to complete this whole sheet. You're just, if there's time, you'll do a closed syllable, an open syllable, and a vowel consonant silent E. That would be good enough, unless your teacher thinks there's time to do more. We've been talking about vowel teams. Student, I'd like you to take out your vowel team rule card and have a quick discussion with your teacher. Tell your teacher what you know about vowel teams. What does it mean to be a vowel team? Did you say that vowel teams are times when there is 2, let me just see if I can get that, there you go, 2 vowels side by side, and we say when 2 vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. So the O would say its name, O, and the A would just sit there silently. Let's look at how all the different syllable types work. Student, can you tap and say this one and tell your teacher what type of syllable that one is? Well, that one is odd, rod. I went fishing with my rod. And that was a closed syllable. Tell your teacher why it's a closed syllable. Did you say it's closed because there's one vowel followed by, could be one or more babysitters, but in this case there's just one consonant, and we know the vowel's short in that case. But what happens if we take away that consonant? Now tap it, say it, and tell your teacher what type of syllable we have now. This would be an open syllable, and we would read it row. It's not closed in, so the short sound is no longer. We're going to say the long sound now. Row. It happens in the word rodent. But what happens if I want to have a consonant at the end and I want the vowel to say its name? Well, now we have to make up a third syllable type to accommodate that. Can you read this one and tell your teacher what type of syllable this one is? Well, that says rode. I rode my bike. And this one is a vowel, consonant, silent E syllable type. There's a lot of words in English, and so we have to have another syllable type to accommodate all these words. So this is rode, like, I rode my bike or I rode a horse. But we're going to have a different syllable type, and it's going to show, it'll have the same sound, rode, but it's just a different way to write it, which shows a different meaning. So what type of road is this? Can you tell your teacher what syllable type this is and what type of road this is? It's not I rode a bike. Well, this is a road like I drove my car down the road. And this type is a vowel team. 2 vowels go walking and the first one does the talking. So the O says its name and the A is silent. And there are multiple vowel teams that can make the same sound. So here's another vowel team spelled differently that will make the same sound as OA. Can you tap and say this one? So that's a vowel team that says row. And it's we say 2 vowels go walking and the first one does the talking. And then some of you might be saying, W. W's a vowel? Well, in this case, it is actually acting as a vowel, and that's totally fine because it tells you even in the name of it that it can do that. It's a double U. Have you ever thought about why it's named double U? It's doubling in for the U, isn't it? It can act as a vowel for sure. We've been working on the EE and EA vowel teams. Reading the vowel teams is not very tricky. But knowing which one to use, whether it's EA or EE, so understanding the meaning of them, that's the tricky part. So we have a little game, and we're going to have the teacher and student. One of you will read a word, and then you'll put that word into context by making it into a silly little story. And the teacher will say, the fish was in the reeds. And then it's the student's turn. And they could say they heard the beat of wings in the distance. And this is how you'll do it. And you'll just make a story as you go. And you're just practicing applying, like reading it and realizing which meaning of the word it is. Now we're going to review the different sounds of O that are made by vowel teams. OA, OW, and OE. Your teacher has some headings on the table, and you can see them there. And the teacher will read a word from one of the word cards. For example, load. And the teacher will say, which way is load spelled? Is it OA, OW, or OE? You'll know that it's OA because when you hear the O sound in the middle of a word, OA is the team that you use. And then you can just put the word under the right heading and then go on to your next word. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. Student, you'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Can you say F? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say O? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say O? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Think about any spelling changes that you need to make. Okay, did you say the word was flow? Water will flow when you open the tap? If you did, that's correct. And did you spell it F-L-O-W? If you did, that's right. Okay, put those tiles back and get ready for a new word. Can you say ul? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say O? Find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. Can you say F? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Think about which vowel team you would have to use in that situation. Did you say the word was a loaf? I went to the store and bought a loaf of bread. If you did, that's right. And we would spell that one L-O-A-F. If you hear the O in the middle of a word, we're going to use the vowel team O-A. All right, teacher, if you have time, you can do more words in this way. And if not, then you can move on to the single word list, and then the short story, and then you'll add the fluency element. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. Student, you'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Your word is woe. Can you repeat that word? I might say the deer hunter felt woe when the doe hit its toe. What's the first sound that you hear in woe? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in woe? Find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell this one W-O-E? If you did, that's right. Okay, put those tiles back and get ready for a new word. Okay, your word is foam. Can you repeat that word? I might say on the water there was some bubbles. It was a large foam. What's the first sound that you hear in foam? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in foam? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in foam? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Tap it and say it. Make any changes that you need to make. Okay, did you say that this was spelled F-O-A-M? If you did, that's correct. We know it's O-A because we hear that O sound in the middle of the word. All right, teacher, if you have time, you can do more words in this way. And if not, then student, I'd like you to grab a pencil and some lined paper, and we're going to write some single words. Can you say doe? A doe is a female deer. Okay, now I'd like you to tap out the sounds in doe and say them. Say the whole word and write it down. Did you spell doe D-O-E? If you did, that's right. Okay, try this one. Mow. Can you say that word? I will mow the lawn. Tap it, say it, and write it down. Did you spell this one M-O-W? If you did, that's right. Now try this one. Road. Okay, did you spell this one R-O-A-D? If you did, that's right. And try this one. I'm going to use a different vowel team from a few lessons ago. Lay. Can you repeat that word? The hen will lay an egg. I wonder what vowel team we'd use there. Tap it, say it, and write it down. Did you spell that one L-A-Y? The A-Y vowel team is used at the end of words when you hear that A at the end. Okay, great job. Now it's time to write some sentences. So teacher, you'll read the 3 sentences and the student will choose the 2 that will be written. Student, after you write a sentence, I'd like you to check your work with CHOPS. Let's do a quick review before you go. We've been talking about vowel teams, times where 2 vowels are side by side in the word, and the first one's saying its long sound, and the second one is just sitting there silently. We've learned a lot of them. So student, can you have your pencil and paper on hand there? I'd like you to write down the different ways that you know to make A when it's a vowel team. Which ones have you learned? Okay, did you write down A and A-Y? If you did, that's right. And then what vowel teams do you know that make the sound E, the long E sound? We've learned 3 of them. I wonder which ones you can remember. Write them down now, and then we'll check. Okay, did you write down? There it is, E-A, E-E, and E-Y? If you did, that's right. And then last of all, we've been learning about the vowel teams that make the O sound. There's 3 of them. Can you write those down right now, and then we'll check? Okay, here they are. O-A, O-W, and O-E. Well, you've learned a lot about vowel teams. Great job today. This is the end of lesson 81. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.